games. I mean, is this a milestone you ever seriously thought about?
No, if I'm honest. I don't think my dad was trying to be disrespectful, but I remember him saying to me when I told him that, he said to me, "Oh, you said you'd leave after your first year at Adelaide, and you're 300 games now." So it wasn't the necessary plan. I mean, my career has had twists and turns. My dream was always to play in the Premier League, and ultimately I fell short. I guess by the skin of my nose, but at Bolton I was close enough, but not close. So on the flip side, to talk down an achievement of 300 games is silly. It is a great achievement, but it's not one I'm celebrating at the moment. It's one that will be really appreciated come the end of my career, and something that for me, I guess at the end I'll be able to have a glass of something and appreciate. But I'm kind of the person that always looks to the next one. So regardless of 300, I'm always looking for Friday night and then the following week against in Brisbane. So there's a time and place to celebrate it, but not right now.
What's the highlight, or is that a silly question?
Oh yeah, no. There's been. Ultimate one is winning trophies. My debut it would be against Perth Glory for Adelaide. The Wanderers, where we were 3-0 down against Brisbane. That was a highlight semi-final, and coming back and winning that. But you can't go past nights against Central Coast at home. With the Premier's plate, the last minute the referee wanted to go to VAR, and I was thinking there and then that's a penalty. So that night, and then Sydney FC, and then last year against Wellington, the Victory fans cheering us on, which was fantastic for them to turn up and support us to win the Premier's plate. And then you have some bad times, but it balances itself out. But ultimately, the good ones you always want to remember.
Jamo, the majority of these 300 games have come with Melbourne City, with you captaining Melbourne City as well. When you first signed for this club, did you envision it becoming home for you the way that it has?
Yeah, it did, because at the time I signed a 4-year deal. I'd returned from Sweden, where that was my last crack at trying to go overseas and make something really big of it. And the security, and I guess the ultimate package of coming back to a club that the expectation to try and win things was mirrored to mine, and that's about trying to win and play in these big games, and that was the case. So when it came to signing a 4-year deal, and then that time coming up, it was always just trying to stay here, and one or two conversations at the time my contract was up with one or two clubs, but it was never serious enough for me to want to look elsewhere. And it's been a great. This is my 6th or 7th year now. I'm super proud of what we've been able to do as a club, but I'm grateful for the opportunities they've gave me.
300 games puts you in rare air in this league. What sort of, legacy do you hope you've been able to leave? Or I guess when people think of you, maybe when it finishes, what do you hope people think of you?
I do take a lot of comfort in, I'm proud of is the people I've played with, the people I work with know the real me, and they know first and foremost I'm a pretty good person, but I'm also a competitive person on the field, and I look to try and challenge people, first and foremost myself, but challenge other people. But the main aim is to be a good person, and I take a lot of comfort in the sense of the people I work with, the people I see day to day, would believe that. Yeah, they will say I do like to push people's buttons, and that's the case, and annoy people. But ultimately, I understand when it comes to a bit of a football fraternity, they might say I tend to talk a lot, but I think they'll say I'm a good player. It wasn't the greatest, wasn't certainly the worst, but I was a good player.
Jamo, how did you, PK and the boys, approach a milestone game like this? I mean, before the game, is it going to be win it for Jamo, or is it just sort of going to be acknowledged afterwards as congratulations?
Well, I wouldn't allow it to be win it for Jamo, but I know certainly PK wouldn't be saying that either. And I've looked at other people, achieving these milestones, whether it's in our league or it's AFL Rugby League, and I've always been of the opinion that it's something that is a great achievement, but it shouldn't be the catalyst or the reason for a team to go out and win a game. It hasn't been spoken about, and I'm glad it hasn't been spoken about in terms of internally. A few boys have congratulated me, but it's never been spoken about in a team forum because, firstly, if it was, I'd try and dampen it down because it's not about me. This is round one of the new season, and a little side piece is an achievement by me, but it's not a main talking point within our club and certainly from me.
Well, I mean, you do have a game to win. It's a grand final rematch.
Yeah.
Western United. Has the fact that it is a grand final rematch come up?
It's not been a main talking point. I think emotions that were felt that night, like we did when we lost to Sydney, have been there in and around the group and individuals, since that night. So it hasn't been, as I said, a main talking point. But for us as a group, we were very disappointed with the way we played that night. Take nothing away from Western United, but the opportunity that we missed, was a massive one. And you see the hurt on people's faces, but it's 10 times worse underneath the skin. So it's a massive game. It's the first game, and they're always exciting. They tend to be, I guess, cagey affairs, not just our games, but every round one is always a cagey affair. But you chuck in because it's, I guess, a grand final rematch. It might add a little spice, but it's not a talking point for us, revenge or anything like that. No, nothing like that.
How is the hunger, I guess, going into this season? Because I know last season you still wanted to win it all. You always want to win it all, but to get yourselves back on top dogs again, Premier's played again, do the double, that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, I would have said last year that regardless of winning it, the hunger's still there, and the hunger's still there, even though we got knocked off and we were second best ultimately, and that's the realisation. Western United were champions, and deservedly so. They were the best team on the night. For us as a club, for us as a team, I guess you individuals can approach things any way, but when it comes to a team mantra, I think regardless of success, regardless of results, the mantra we go by is we have to compete every day. And we were taken down a notch, I said, on that night, but the hunger and the grit between the teeth will always be there, and I've seen nothing that makes me think that isn't the case. So this will be our fourth season in a row where we're trying to, I guess, compete for a grand final spot and premiership plate, and I say that in a row because I've won stuff in the past 3 years. So there's no letting off from us as individuals and as a team, as players, but also as a coaching staff.
Not just from the results, but the way the season ended up being structured for you guys last year. Obviously, everybody had to deal with the COVID issues, but then you guys had to think about going to Asia and everything. So
Yeah.
it really condensed the period. What did you sort of learn from that, and what have you taken from that into this year?
Well, I think ultimately we deserved a bit of a pat on the back from ourselves first and foremost, but I guess from football people, because of the schedule we had, we were playing 2 games a week, whilst Victory got knocked out in Japan, and then Western were cruising with 1 game a week. So to end up being premiership winners after that schedule was a hell of an effort, albeit we dragged it on a little bit more than we should have, and that's something we've talked about in terms of. I guess one-off games is something that we need to be better at this year, and approaching those games, it's something we will talk about because it was evident that we weren't good enough last year in one-off games. So, last year was a lot of highs and a lot of lows, but we've learned a lot from the people being there, and the new ones coming in have been given a bit of a taste of what happened, but ultimately it's a fresh start, and we look to build on the positives and go from there.
Jamo, you've got, it's an embarrassment of riches in terms of the depth that your squad has. It feels like you're too deep at almost at every position, especially going forward. What sort of evolution can we expect to see from City's football this season? How are you going to improve and help yourselves go to that next level?
Well, we've made it a strong point to be able to be flexible enough in systems, and we've tried a lot on a specific system this pre-season. Whether it it comes into every game. I don't think so, because you play against teams that set up differently. But we're not a team to take a backward step. We're always looking to improve and be on the front foot and attack. And over the last 2 to 3 years, teams have seen the way we've set up and have been able to study it and get used to it. I've seen 1 or 2 teams actually do what we've done, which is a compliment, but throughout this pre-season. So we've had to look at other ways of trying to improve, and maybe that's come at the cost of a few results in the pre-season, so be it, but we've had to work towards adding another dimension to already a flexible system because of the other teams and how they've approached things.